All right, welcome to the Quest for Excellence podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Montreal. I'm joined today by Liam Troy. Liam is a recent friend of mine. We met in the a community we're both a part of online called the Entre Institute, which we'll talk more about later. But Liam is a sales representative and a sleep expert for a mattress firm, and he spent over 10 years in the restaurant and hospitality um, sector, which I spent over 20 years in, so we have a lot of commonalities there. But we, again, recently met in Entra. We kind of approached each other, immediately had a great conversation, and we've quickly become friends. He's a great young guy, super happy to have him on the show. So Liam, without further ado, welcome, man.
Hey, thanks so much, Jeff. I really appreciate that introduction, and I'm glad to be here with you, buddy.
Sure. No, it's great. I was excited about this. You know, I want to make this clear. We literally just talked about this about 2 minutes ago, but this series is not about having, millionaires with all the secrets on here or people that are prolific and are, have already found amazing earthly success. That's not what this is about. But there are certain things that are commonalities between successful people. And a lot of that is just being a positive person, having a good outlook, and having a willingness to help people. And I recognize that in you, Liam, immediately. That's why I wanted to have you on here to talk about kind of where you came from, what you got going on now, how we met through Entra, and then your future plans with this new education. But before we get into any of that crap, I want to know about little Liam, where you came from. I don't know literally hardly anything about you. I know you have a wife. But aside from that, I really don't know a whole lot about you personally. So I'd love to hear about you growing up, your parents and family life and schooling. Go ahead and take over.
Yeah, awesome, man. Cool. Well, first off, I definitely agree with you. Like about, I think it's awesome what you're doing. Just taking action and talking with all these different people and building something great. And I really appreciate that. And I think that's what drew me to you in the first place. And so it's cool to, have this budding friendship with you. But I guess, I grew up in Indiana, and I definitely did not have like an ideal childhood, like most people. And I think that really kind of that pain of coming from a really non-supportive family is what shaped me a lot throughout my life. It's what's gotten me, kind of what drove me to do exceptionally well in school, and then to in my professional life, just to be motivated to work harder than anyone around me, and to really develop myself in a way that I thought would make a difference.
Did you, when you were younger, did you use that? Because and you can go into that into more detail if you'd like. You don't have to, but I get and really it's because, parents or people around you, they just weren't okay themselves and they weren't able to help you like they should have, right? Did you think that was fuel that added to your success, or did you just want to be the best dude you could be? Or was it kind of I'll show you guys?
Wow, that's a good question. And really, I think it's, there's a lot of factors that go into it. I think it was really just, I wanted significance, and I wanted to be like seen from my family, and I wanted to feel loved by my family. And that's, I think, what drove me to really do well in school and whatnot. I always loved learning, as a young person. I learned to read really young. I was like 3 or 4 when I started reading. And then I just noticed I always got a lot of attention for it. And that was kind of something that wasn't really, like, there wasn't a lot of parental attention. So that was that. But it was never like, oh, I'm gonna get you back or anything like that. It was more like I was able to recognize kind of that the reason that my family wasn't able to support me was because they didn't have those skills. They didn't have that support that they needed.
Right.
And so it's really been more about like contribution. And that's been another big drive for me to want to be successful. And what's led me eventually to the Entra community is that I want to take care of my family in a huge way, like, and so that they never have to worry, that they can really expand who they are. And so that's been a driving motivator too. I don't know if that, I think that.
Yeah, no, you did. And it brought me to another one. I'm curious, some people, not a lot of people are able to break the cycle, and if you could distill and bottle up whatever that is that turned you into a grateful, wanting to take care of your family instead of the kind of routine, normal landslide of just how your family used to be. That's interesting. I'm sure that'll be uncovered as we talk over this next 40, 50 minutes here. Did you play any sports by chance? Were you into sports?
Yeah, I was into sports kind of like casually. I played
Gotcha.
baseball as a in middle school, and I was also on the track team. I was really into music, so I played trumpet all through
Nice.
middle school and high school. Yeah, yeah. Are you a musician, Jen?
No, I would not say musician, but super quick story. My grandma and grandfather, when I was very young, had a old school organ, which came straight from a church that they got donated to, which I played on, and then an aunt, and there was actually another piano in the basement, like older grand piano, like in the wall. It was really cool. But I played a bit, took lessons. An older kid saw me walking home from taking lessons, like made fun of me, so I never played again. So I do play the guitar a bit. I like jamming on the harmonica. I can do a little piano, but no, my fiance is really the musician and artist. It's not me. But I do have I'm a little bit musically inclined, but I'm hugely passionate about music and what it can do for people. But so that's cool. That's
Yeah.
do you still play? Do you still have anything to do with your old trumpet or anything like that? Yeah.
So I don't play trumpet anymore. I don't do that anymore just because I wasn't as passionate about it. But my dad, my brother, they both play guitar, and I play guitar.
Nice.
It's not been a main focus of my life right now, just because you can only focus on so many things at once, and I'm more kind of professionally focused on my relationship. But I think the more time freedom that I get, it'll definitely be something I delve into more and like pursue more mastery.
Cool. That's also important, though. That shows a lot of emotional maturity, that you're not trying to do just what makes you feel good. You need to do what you're supposed to do. So let's keep going. So school, you from what we've just already talked about, it wasn't like you didn't do anything or lone or lose. You were involved in like extracurricular activities, and felt like you had some friends and had at least some kind of a normal kind of high school career. Would that be fair to say, or no?
Well, that's great that you bring that up, because I was actually extremely awkward as a child.
Okay.
And very shy, and I wasn't like, I had like normal friends, like I had a few regular friends, but I really did not learn how to socialize until I was an adult. And so I was always like kind of in this shell, like scared to be a person. Once I became an adult, I kind of came more self-aware.
I think it's more of people like you and me, because I was the same way, like real early. I was also a wild man. I had like no filter, and that's how I got attention. But
I could see that.
Yeah, I was nuts. I got my three things in junior high graduation was class clown, most likely to make fun of his mom, and best legs. So that was like me. But no, so I get it. I understand that. But my point was, I think that's the norm, actually, that we're all scared shitless and are shy when we're in school. It's the kind of the ones that are extroverts, and it's not always the popular ones, but the quote unquote kind of outspoken popular kids, maybe they don't always turn out to be the best ones. Sometimes the shy, introvert, awkward ones they kind of get underneath the radar and then escape all that without having that inflated ego. So that also says a lot about your current character. You weren't coddled. Your ego wasn't coddled when you were in school. So that's cool. I get it.
Yeah.
So you came out of there. College, did you go to any college career at all?
Yeah, I didn't go the college route.
Cool.
I wanted to, and that actually, I think that was the start, really, of my personal development, my strategic, intentional personal development, because I wanted to go to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and study engineering, but I didn't have the courage to do it when I was in high school, and I applied to one college in Indiana, Rose-Hulman, which is a really good institution, and I got in, and that kind of like raised my confidence. But then I was like, that's not what I want.
Were you just afraid of the rejection letter, or of actually succeeding and having to carry that, or both?
I think it was just, I didn't believe that I was the type of person that they were looking for. And but after I got out of high school, probably about 6 months afterwards, I did apply to MIT, and I got rejected. I didn't get in, obviously. I thought my life would probably be different if I did, probably drastically. But anyway, that was when I kind of looked at myself and I was like, this is this is what I really want. Like, I've always been ambitious, but like, this is what I want, and I'm not getting there, and I'm not doing it. And I, like, for the first time, I really looked at my life and the situation of my life and was like, this is not who I really am. And I know that I can be a lot better than who I am right now. And that's kind of what led me to go into the library and just getting started on that journey. And I'm really glad that it did.
Well,
it's led me here to you.
Yeah, I mean, carry on from there in the library. What do you mean by that? What happened when you didn't go to school?
What?
How did that progress?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just started learning on my own after that.
Yeah.
And going to the library when I wasn't at work, and that's when I first started reading personal development books, and that is just.
What were the first couple you got?
Actually,
what was the first one? Actually,
I don't even.
No.
I don't even remember what it was called, but I know it was about money. It was about getting wealthy, and it's something about it just,
God, I wonder what it is. Trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
That's I'm curious. Do you remember any other of the early ones though? Any other?
The one that really changed my life when I was I think I told you this a little bit when we talked on Sunday. Like, I used to have a really big, like, a bad substance abuse and alcohol issue, and when I was 19, so right after high school, I was going through that. Like, I was an alcoholic, and I actually was. I got in an accident. And a lot, actually, obviously this is not something you just tell people every day, but I got in a car accident, and I broke my leg, and I was in the hospital, and it was when I was just really, like, at the very beginning of starting to just be self-aware, like, understanding that I was a unique human being and I could make my own choices. And when I was in the hospital, I was talking to one of the nurses. I would definitely say that experience was like who I was before then, and then I was one person, and then who I was after that was a totally different person.
I gotta stop you there, because this is an interesting point. Were you drinking, by the way, in the accident?
Yes.
Okay, I gathered that, and if you didn't want to say that out loud, I apologize, but I had to know for.
Oh, that's okay.
So was it just you in the accident?
It was just me.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, that would have been.
Nobody.
We wouldn't have probably be sitting here talking if you would have hit somebody else in that case. So, and dude, no judgment, bro. I've been in jail. Don't worry about it. We've all been through some crazy stuff. I'll tell you my horror stories. So don't feel judgment at all. Some of this is about. This is why this is powerful, and why people being open about this kind of shit can change people's lives. Right now, I don't know exactly, but, and you tell me, I guess. This whole combination of you are shifting your way of thinking, you're getting out of the whole kind of traditional rat race mentality of, formative school, college, get your job, get a wife, get kids, and blah, 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 retired. So you're starting to really get these thoughts, but you're also on the other end of the spectrum struggling with the, substance abuse and drinking, whatever else you were doing, which you don't have to go into. If you're in an abusive mindset, I can only imagine it doesn't matter. If you're shooting up heroin, it's a little bit different than smoking some pot, but still, you're in an abusive mindset, doesn't matter. Drinking is enough. So this is where it gets interesting. If you would not have had that accident, would you have changed? And then on top of that, how important do you think, because this is where I'm coming from with this, and this is going to be we talked about this a little bit, but this is going to be part of kind of my end game goal in life and my business, how I'm going to affect thousands of people. But sometimes you need one random person at that one moment in life to tell you that one thing you need to hear to get you that one nugget you need to get you to the next step, right? So if that nurse, was she just a small bridge that kept you going down your path, or was she more like a catalyst that lit a fire under your ass because you were in like a neutral, holy shit, I can't drink, I'm stuck here, I have to examine my life? Was it a gentle flow with her? Did she kind of help you, or was she a big deal? There's no right answer. So I'm curious.
So her, that human being was just extremely random. I think I probably talked to her one time. The book was exponential growth, created exponential, hugely, vastly changed.
Which book?
And the book was The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
Understood. Okay. Yep.
yeah, after time, when I got a little bit older, I heard a lot of criticism about that book, and I thought it was interesting, like, because people are like, oh, that's bullshit and yada yada yada, and everybody's gonna have their different opinion about it, and that's great. But for me, that book completely changed my life. I had no idea that your thoughts created your reality.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
no,
know that.
I agree with you, dude. Just so you know, it's and the reason people criticize it because they thought it was some kind of magic voodoo. You know, you just sit there in your room and think about a pile of gold, and you know it's going to appear. No, it's more practically. It's if you fixate in your mind on what you want, right, and that's in
Right.
your mind. It already exists. So, and if you believe that, then any action you take after that will lead you towards that goal. It isn't magic. It's a way to hardwire your brain, right? It's actually
Yeah,
science. So that's
it's
fantastic. It
science.
is. It is. It's not. It's just a way to get kind of the. You gotta lead with feelings, right? It's kind of the foo-foo. Let's get people. Oh my lord, I can just visualize. When you really understand that it's not that simple. That's the people that criticized it were the ones that were looking for that and found out that it wasn't. But it's actually a very powerful thing. Visualization, and I don't know if you know Joe Dispenza and that whole
Yeah.
thought. Yeah, that. So I'm with you on that. So the secret got us hooks into you. You understood the power of visualization and positive thinking. That it's true. Nobody can deny it. If you do, you're a fool. Um, so
Right.
talk about the next maybe at this point you said you were 19 at this point you were still that
Yeah.
young.
Yep.
So you were 19.
Yes.
Give me a quick next few years. How did that change and what happened after the accident and you're
Yeah.
recovering from your leg and all that?
Absolutely. So that was, gosh, just a lot of things. Just my mindset shifted exponentially. I really was able to look at myself in the mirror and love myself. Really, a huge amount of self-esteem built, and because of that, I started to naturally to achieve more things because I was going out there and I was doing things that were I was uncomfortable with, and I was growing. I got a job as a bilingual bank teller, so
Hmm.
like I was just like I didn't study Spanish. I studied Spanish in high school, but I always spoke it with my restaurant friends. So I actually speak a fair bit of Spanish, and then I was just like, whatever, I'm going to go out and do it, and I did it, and just a lot of other things. But I remember that was one of the early successes where I was just like, whoa, like I'm like better than I thought I was.
Hmm.
And really that has led me to gosh, I remember my first like personal development mentor was Tony Robbins. I think that's like probably many people, definitely many people. But I just was like, gosh, what he does, that's what I want to do. And since I got started on the journey from 19, I knew that I wanted to impact the lives of many people. And Jeff, I wholeheartedly believe that you're going to impact more than thousands of people, like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions. Like you definitely, you have that energy and you're putting it out and you're
Well, I
consistent.
appreciate that, man.
You
No, you too,
can't
dude.
stop it. Yeah.
Don't discredit
Yeah.
yourself.
Thanks.
I'm just happy to be a little bit older and on a different path. But no, that's why you're here, dude. That means a lot. And you have the same power, and anybody listening can do the same damn thing. I'm only interrupting you because that was really powerful, and it's like several ideas that all go back into one thing. You talked about having that imposter syndrome, where who am I to do this? Well, who am I? I'm an idiot. Blah blah. Whatever. I'm not equipped enough. I don't know enough. I don't have enough skills. Whatever. So that you squash, and then it's really you have the belief in yourself, which you started to do. You said, you sort of look in the mirror and be like, I'm all right. I'm okay. I can do this. And then you do that one thing, right? And it's not like after that one uncomfortable thing, you're good to go. The secrets are unlocked. No, it's a continuous string of uncomfortable things, and you slowly build up to where, it's like leveling up in a friggin' game. You get to level 10, you could take on the level 11 dude. You can't do level 20 yet.
Yeah.
You got to get to level 20. You got to, build up. So it takes time, but that's great. So talk about that. So you were a bilingual bank dude for a little bit. How long did you do that?
Yeah, honestly, I did not do that long because I was working 2 full-time jobs.
Gotcha.
And I wasn't sleeping. I was young, and I tend to make more stupid mistakes when I was younger, and now I still make mistakes, but they're more, there's wisdom behind it, so they're a little less dumb. But it wasn't a good fit. It wasn't a good environment, and So we kind of mutually decided that we weren't going to
Gotcha.
stay in a working relationship.
Well, you still did it, right? That's the point. It's not like you crapped on it.
Hell yeah. For sure. And then from there really is kind of when I got into sales, I was like, I know that I want to be a business owner. I am an entrepreneur. I've done a lot of selling different stuff in different ways. Like, this is just who I am. And I was like, I need sales training. And so that's when I got into sales. And I did it briefly with a music company for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't understand, I didn't really understand what I was doing. It was just kind of like, I was actually taking, Tony Robbins has a course with Chloe Madonis. It'll come to me, what is it called? It's Robbins Madonis training. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, it's course to help you coach other people to success. And so I was doing that instead of focusing on my sales. And I think over time, I just learned that you have to focus on one thing
at a time, man. You can have 1,000 goals and all that, but you got put all your juice onto one thing at a time. Sure, you can multitask or whatever, but when it comes to accomplishing things, getting things done, the whole 80-20 rule, like when you're really trying to accomplish something, focus all your chi on that, or it's a waste of time. You're not being efficient. So I love that. So, all right, let's keep going, because we don't have a ton of time left, and I want to get into a couple things. So fast forward through that time. How long between that sales position when you were Tony Robbinsing it up until Mattress Firm and your current position? What happened in between there?
Just a few years after. I just wasn't happy in that environment again, just not positive. And so went back to restaurant work for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Then I happened upon a sales job that I was like, yes, this is awesome. It was a door-to-door sales job. I went into that and I gave it my all. And for that year that I was with that company, I just exploded my skills.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Like,
do you mind me asking what company? What were you selling?
Yeah, it was called, the name of the company is Sidcore. You may have heard about it. They do a lot of different direct marketing. I was in the door-to-door division, and I was selling AT&T.
Gotcha.
Cable and internet door-to-door. And
that's not too bad.
Great.
That's one of the lesser annoying ones. That's not too bad. I might listen to you for 2 seconds.
Some people thought that.
So, all right. So that built you up a ton of confidence. So you already know why. And let me add this in, and then we'll keep going. If anybody hearing this or listening right now, if you're hearing about sales, or if you think of door-to-door sales and you get like a shiver up your spine, it makes you feel icky, just so you know, you're selling every day of your damn life. Every day you're selling all day, unless you're sitting in a friggin' cave and do nothing. Anytime you interact with someone, you're trying to get a date, you're trying to get a raise, you're trying to convince your boss of something or your children, you are selling your stance, your idea, your position. If you don't embrace that, you're going to be crapped on, looked over, and passed by so many times in life. So you got to learn how to sell. And dude, going door to door, that's all you need to tell me. That empowered you with a new kind of confidence you never had before. Through all the door slams, the nobody answering, the like peeks through the door, and then slamming the door. I already know all the crap that happened to you. So I get what that did for you. And then eventually, how did you find Mattress Firm? How did you get in that sales position?
Just another random twist of events. So just a super brief overview. I was with Sidcore. I personally was a great salesperson, top salesperson in the company, trained a lot of people to do the same. But the Chattanooga market was completely dried up, and it was never a good idea to build there anyway. So I left the company because I couldn't support myself with the money that was coming in. I worked at one restaurant for 6 weeks, and I met my fiance, Mandy.
That was my next question too. No, I'm glad. I wanted to hear about her, how you guys met. So thank you. There you go. Keep going.
Yes, and it was great. And then I was like, okay, here's what I'm doing. I am starting an online business, and I'm going to work a restaurant job while I do that. Well, while I was starting to figure this out, and still am, I had somebody that I waited on. He's like, hey, I work at Mattress Firm. I love it. I think you'd be awesome at it. Apply. Total random stranger. Yeah. And I started working there, and it's been really good.
How long has it been?
I started working there in June, so not like 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's been good to see a lot of success, and also have a lot of time to work on my business and work on my life, and so that's really the next step, and that's where Entre comes in.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I want to hear a little bit more about your wife. What did you say her name was again? I'm sorry, I already forgot.
Her name's Mandy.
I was going to say
Mandy.
Madison. I knew that wasn't right. I'm glad I didn't say so. Mandy,
yeah.
Only because of the pictures I've seen. Seems like you guys are really happy, and have a really cute, kind of cool relationship, kind of a young vibe. But I got to say, yeah, I'm probably going to use your thumbnail from your Facebook profile as the thumbnail for this episode. And you could pass for like 16 years old, dude, both of you. I thought you were high school
kids. We get that all the time.
Oh, I'm not kidding. Even looking at some of your, like, I saw your, I was just doing some stalking on your Facebook page, and I saw you when you proposed. Even there, it's like, oh, that's so cute. I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Thanks,
I'm not making fun of you. It's a good thing.
No.
I told you.
The love, man.
Yeah. I told you when we talked last time, I'm going to be, 60 looking like I'm 120, and you're going to be 40 looking like you're 12. So that's good. It's a good thing. So Mandy, if you want to go into anything, her support lately through the whole Entre experience, which we'll certainly talk about in a minute, but has she been here to support you through this? And and what does she do for a living? If is she still in the restaurant thing? Or what's she doing?
So Mandy, she was actually a guest at the restaurant. So she's never been in food service. She hates food service. It's not for her.
Gotcha.
But she's a photographer.
Oh, cool.
So she's really creative and just imaginative and artsy and stuff like that. She's also a musician. She played trumpet too. But we met, and then. I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, you're fine. No, you're okay. That's why I wanted to go anyway. I was going to ask you how long were you guys together before that proposal picture I saw?
So we were together for exactly 1 year. That was our anniversary.
Oh, what now? Nice. Well.
Yeah. So it's still a young relationship, but you kind of hear like I guess what I'm going to say next is this. Because of the childhood that I have what's called an avoiding love style.
Yeah.
Which means that for me, it's in an intimate relationship, it's very hard for me to understand feelings and also to express them. So that's something that, we're working through. But like when you have a spiritual connection with somebody, it's different than when you don't. And
yeah, no, you're going to be okay because you have to start there. The ones that don't, think anybody who meets at a bar or something, like you're probably not going to be together forever. It's usually the high school sweethearts, or you met at the library, or just literally randomly somewhere. So that's cool. And we'll talk more about that. We can even talk offline or get you back on here to talk more about the relationship. That's a whole nother thing. But let's get into now, all right? Because you're in a good relationship. You're growing, you're learning, you're feeling confident. You've done some sales. You're working some sales right now. When we talked last time, you just kind of mentioned it. You've got a big desire to help people like I do. And you want to educate yourself in the best way to do that. And it just so happens, and I don't really want to go into this episode because it seems like I'm doing it every time, but you're understanding like I do that the traditional education system isn't the only way to make a living in this world, right? And it just so happens that the new digital economy happens to be a lot better in many, many, many ways. Many ways.
Yeah.
So, I get you've knowing that you even found Tony Robbins, you've been online, even, you're not that old, so you were like listening to Tony Robbins cassettes. But so you found Entre. It's been not that long, right? It's been just about a month. How long have you, I don't remember what you told me.
So I bought the course July.
Oh, that's right. Yep. It was
July, around my birthday.
Yep. Same as me.
Both of our birthdays.
I remember. Yep.
And then I did the Awesome Life Challenge. Then I started the actual like meat and potatoes of the course, the marketing course, if you will, like September. So it's been a couple months now.
Okay.
And it's been like everything you said, like obviously the traditional school system is just not where it is. Like that's undisputed. Even people that are like hardcore academics like agree it's not the best way to really foster and nurture people these days to help them grow as human beings. But anyways, I found Entra. I think it's definitely been the best business training I've ever taken. And I've done a lot of different. I did the Robbins Vadonis course, which was awesome. It's different.
Yeah, it's different, right?
About, yeah. I love that it's a holistic way to improve yourself, and it's like nuts and bolts mechanics. What do you do to be successful in whatever type of business you want to do? And also the mindset that you need. So it's everything. It's all of it.
I got to mention something only because it just popped in my head, dude. I haven't thought about this in probably 10 years. I literally forgot about this. I bought this, talking about, either digital or alternative education, right? I bought this, I don't know where I found it. I can give you any more details what I'm about to tell you, but I bought this CD-based make money online / real estate thing, and I was kind of on a whim, and I remember getting it, and I remember popping into CDs, and it was like this old 65-year-old couple, all bougie in their mansion, talking about, it was the most ridiculous decision I ever made in my life. And that's probably why from that, I didn't even equate that to why I ignored any gurus online or Facebook feeds and things like this. And I think you'll agree, it was something about, like you said, it was different. Something about, and it's been July 9th, every single friggin' day, being just such a dedicated student. I feel like a friggin' monk or something, and it will never stop. I'm forever grateful to what it's done. So it'll always be a part of my success and my foundation, the Entra and what it's done, and Chef Learner, the whole deal. You can't take that away. But again, it was when you probably had a similar experience. I don't know where you found them or what platform or where you were or whatever, but mine was on Instagram at kind of a weird point in my life, like a forced rock bottom where I really wanted to make a change. And I recognized the genuine nature of this dude. And it's been reinforced every single day. I damn near call him a friend at this point. We chat, recognize, and it's been a great experience. But enough about me and what I've dealt with it. I want to back up a little bit before we go into more of Entra. And a couple things I noticed about you. I've mentioned you desire to help people, and you've dealt with some abuse in the past. And one thing I noticed, which you said you really don't do too much anymore right now, but I don't know really anybody else who's done this, or people who would even have the gumption or waste any of their energy to do this. You started a smoking cessation Facebook group. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
And I know, it wasn't some prolific 40 billion member thing and you change lives. But again, the idea of even doing that. So I'm going to kind of jump over Entra for a second and get to, it sounds like you want to do something where not just helping people, but more of the fitness. And we talked about, credit and credit repair and that kind of thing, preparing people physically and financially to be the best people they can be. And an education system like Entra and the nuts and bolts and the mindset / the 3 Ps, the physical, personal, and professional, getting you well-rounded. This is the perfect platform to do that. I am advertising for Entra, but I'm not doing it to you. You already know this, but for people listening, right, if you have an idea about if you're already to the point where, and this is where my whole goal is to get you there, but if you're already to the point where you're confident, your belief system is good, you're ready to go, you've had some wins, and you have an idea, pretty much for anything online, Entra is a great place to start. And it scales up. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You can get something for free that'll give you a great idea on what's going on. But so if you want to talk about kind of what you've learned and then through into the future, what do you think this is going to be? Because again, you're not done with your training. You're not through all of this. You're not an expert digital marketer right now. You're not, making money online. But where do you see this taking you, people who are unsure about maybe stepping in?
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess all I can say is what, in the short time I've been a part of it, what it's done for me. And when you're a part of the community, that Entra Nation Elite, those weekly webinars that they did, I know you were on the last one about money. Dude, that was literally, I've never heard anything like that. all the time I'm learning. Just Jeff is such an exceptional mentor, but the thing is, like, he wants you to also be an excellent mentor and be, even if you're not, you know, I think people that are drawn to Entre, they are leaders. That's just the way that it is. Even if that's not what you want to do, you don't want to be like a visible, like, online presence like he is. You can't, I mean, you probably can find equal mentorship maybe, but I think honestly it's got to be the best value. It has to be the best value on the internet for the small, relatively small amount of money that you pay for what you get in return. Like, just being a part of the community.
Yeah. Yep.
Even being with you, even just talking with you the other day and doing this right now, like, this is expanding me, and just one little step closer to the huge thing that I'm building, the huge business and the huge impact and the huge legacy. And that's the thing about Jeff, is he's creating, and he's in many ways created a huge legacy, and he's continuing to do that, and just helping people that also want to do that stretch their mind. So it's really and it's intimate too. That's the thing, because it's still like pretty small. Like, it's very intimate.
Well, that's what's awesome about it. It's actually, I don't mean this to say against what you're saying, but there's been over 60,000 students that have come through in the past year and a half. It's been around for 2 years, but the first like sellable thing was a year and a half ago ish. So, you know, there's been a ton of people, but it feels that way because the people that actually, and not everybody, you know, there's some that are cheesy and not to boast about their sales or their platform or their program, whatever. But for the most part, people that find their way here and actually engage, they're like-minded people. You know, like you said, they might be leaders, but they might not realize that yet. They might need Entre to kind of crack the mold. And like for me, as an example, I knew based on a good chunk of my life and things I've done that I did have leadership qualities, that I could lead, that I could be a mentor. I proved that to myself, but sometimes to like take that on forever and carry that forever, you need some help. You need someone to really give you what you're missing. And it's different for everybody, right? And that's why Entre is great, because it doesn't matter. This is for anybody listening, a very brief little Entre thing, the 3 Ps I talked about earlier, the physical, professional, or impersonal, right? This is just my first suggestion for anybody. I said on my last podcast, if you're wondering about what the hell can I do, my life sucks, everything's horrible, I'm miserable, what can I do? Start working on the physical side. Get up in the morning and go for a friggin' walk, right? If you're obese or overweight, just take it easy, go slow, a little bit every day. If you change your diet, I mentioned this also in my last podcast, this is huge. The first layer of anything in terms of self-control is what you put in your body, what you eat, right? So again, what are you eating? What are you consuming? And these are the kind of things that they start, and hearing it from me might be really impactful, but some people need to hear it from this, you know, a multi-millionaire online guru. That might be what you need, but I'm telling you, and like you said, it's the kind of community and the educational program that you can do really anything you want. It isn't just like if you're going to buy I don't want to say anybody, but you know, one of the funnel programs out there, right? Like, you're going to be learning how to build and create funnels. Their idea is not to get you to be an incredibly well-rounded person that has an amazing foundation, right? There's a difference there, you know, and I think you recognize that, I recognize that, and people that are getting a lot out of this realize that it's not about just making money. You need to be fulfilled in your life, and you don't get that from a 5-day challenge online. It takes real work. So I think you recognize that.
And there's a level of expectation that people have in this group that makes it worth any money that you were going to put into it, or just your time. It makes it worth your time being there, because these are people that are actually doing things and having that consistency, and that makes all the difference. Something that the 3 legs of successful action, the community leg, that was something that I had always ignored. And I was like,
me too.
I can do this
me too.
Yeah, and just that's been probably the biggest thing that I've taken away that has been kind of one of those intangible things. Like, I've learned I'm so bad with computers, Jeff. Like, you don't know, I'm terrible with computers, and I've learned a lot. Like, I'm actually able to like start navigating stuff and build a website and buy a domain. I know what all that means now.
That's good. Good job.
But yeah, But anyways, the community is worth it alone. And then not just that, but you also have the training from people that have created what you want, what you're trying to create. So there's no, like, if you're an entrepreneur or if you want to have a business or you just want to have time or financial freedom, like Mantra is the way to go.
Yeah.
At least it was for me, and it is for you and a lot of other people.
It is. And to kind of break through, you know, there's a free book that you can get through Entra, and there'll be a link in the description here for it, but it's free. But I'll tell you what it says right now. It's a very short book. Copy other people that are successful, and this is the point. It doesn't mean do exactly what they did. It's like kind of like a schematic. You know, look at what they did, make it your own. You put your own flair on it. Don't just copy words and copyright. That's not okay. You can't do that. But just make it your own, and he'll teach you how to do that. You know, and I guess the big distinguisher, I will say for people like us, because I can honestly say that now, I have this ridiculous, unabashed self-confidence that just will not go away, you know, unless something catastrophic happens to me. This is going to be me forever, and I'm not going to stop. You know, I know you're going to be on the same path. It's unavoidable. So let me hold on. I want to, because I don't have a ton of time left. So I'm going to ask it to you this way, because I know you're a bit unsure and you're not finished with the training, whatever, but just hear what I say here. What are you going to be doing in the next 5 to 10 years? We've talked about a little bit about what you want to do, and I know you've had ideas, you talked about them. So in a very kind of quick, we just got an elevator. What do you want to do with this newfound training, this feeling of service and wanting to help people? What are you going to be doing in the next 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, that's a big question, but to just very narrowly and
just boom.
This define my voice and express it and help millions of people while I do.
All right.
And it's going to be based around personal development.
There you go. And again, you might think there's a billion people already doing that. There's only one version of you doing that. And I can tell you the biggest takeaway for me, man, you hear the big blue ocean, but there are going to be a bunch of people out there that don't like you, right? But there's also going to be a bunch of people that do. And that goes for anybody. And I realized something today I want to share. This might seem a little weird and selfish about Jeff and something he talks about. He's kind of admits that he's like, dude, I got to be honest, I try to avoid people, like the majority of people. And look, let's be straight. A lot of people just suck. They're just miserable. They're negative. They want you to feel negative. They want you in their same boat. I'm not being mean. I'm not being, on my high horse here. It's just the way it is. I used to be like that. But I think I realized something today, and I've interacted with him and heard him talk a lot now. And you said something earlier. He does want people to be doing the same thing he's doing to find success, but he knows, and I know this too, and it's not like we want this to remain the same, because if it did, if it did not, if everybody in the world started doing this, we'd all be selling to each other. We wouldn't be selling anything, right? So the idea is you could become that top 1-2%. I'm not talking about money earners. I'm talking about people who are actually living a fulfilled, happy life, whatever that means to them, right? There's always going to be this massive chunk of people that are not going to be able to take themselves out of the equation and live the life they want to live. It's just always going to be like that. I don't care and I realize that now. And I'm like a glass half full, super optimistic guy. But I think Jeff realizes that I'm starting to get that too. And the point is, out of those 98% of people, there's an ebb and flow of the ones that are looking to step up, looking to level up, looking to actually make it right. So that it's a constant, ever-changing spectrum of people that are going to resonate with you. So if you stick true to your message, you believe in yourself, and you do it every damn day, you're going to find people that gravitate towards you, period. I can tell you that I'm living proof of that. Even just us talking and connecting, right? Just you alone. And it hasn't been just you. I'm not going to go into any of what's been going on with me here. It's not about me. It's for anybody listening. Figure out what you want to do. Understand that if you're scared shitless, good, do it anyway. And then you'll be less scared the next time, right? And then you just keep going until you can pretty much do whatever. You can go on stage butt naked and talk to 1 million people. That's how powerful this gets. I could literally go do that right now. I'm not even kidding. In like a top hat, totally naked. That's how powerful this. I know I'm being funny, but I mean it, man. It's you get this overwhelming confidence that isn't about being cocky. And I was going to say this earlier too. I mentioned this a couple of times. We talk about, and I mentioned it too about Jeff, like kind of wanting to avoid people or just not having a big community, right? Not wanting to deal with people. That's actually a form of egotism and being self-centered. It isn't poor me, nobody likes me. No, you think that you're in a different level than other people and no one's going to be able to make you happy, relate to you, give you joy. It's all going to be pain and misery. It's garbage. It's garbage. So if you just heard me and you're that person, like, just stop doing that. It's just change your mindset. It's literally that easy, right? Wake up and say, wow, I can breathe. I'm alive. I can walk. It's all about living with gratitude and believing in yourself. So I get it's hard to pinpoint what you're going to do. You're really just kind of starting on this journey, but I have met and worked with just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. I want to say thousands over the years, just in different leadership and mentor roles and whatever. And I have this like barometer for both bullshit and potential. They're kind of intertwined, right? Because you could pretend like you're this awesome person, but in reality you're not. So I have a good meter for that. And I can tell you right now, and I don't know you very well, but I know you're decent at this point. I call you a friend. You're going to be just fine, dude. I know, we got to kind of wrap things up here pretty soon, but you talked about wanting to get into the credit thing. You don't have to answer now, but I know I sent you a great podcast to listen to that'll help you there. And
yes,
good.
Yeah, and I did listen to that. That was insightful.
Awesome. Yep.
So I appreciate the research.
Yeah. No, that could be. And you hear Jeff mention that yesterday, huh? On the weekly call. I don't know if you caught that, but he brought that up exactly. Yeah.
I actually didn't hear that, but I have to listen to the first 30 minutes of that because I was at work.
I got you.
But yeah,
no, he brought it up, man. He did. I almost said it first, but he beat me to it because we were talking about credit and how to use credit in business. So that's a great field. You could not make money really, but just change a ton of lives with that, with stuff we're not taught as children. So the whole credit thing, health and wellness, no smoking, that whole vibe in terms of a niche could be spliced up and you could really make a difference in the world with just those things. And it's not oversaturated. So I see an incredibly blinding, bright future for you, Liam, big time, for sure. I really do. So one more final thing, and then we'll call it a day here. Any advice, because, this might be hard to describe because, again, going back to the beginning of the talk, you were the kind of guy that came from a rough, non-supportive childhood, and not out of spite, not to get back at people, but you found a way to use it as fuel to want to change that for your future life, anybody you encounter, right? So for anybody who might feel stuck, or they feel down, or they're trying to find positivity, any advice, and this could be for a 16-year-old or a 60-year-old, it doesn't matter. Anybody who's feeling down to just start to live positively, any advice for them?
That's a really good question. There's two things that come to mind just right offhand, and the first thing is move your body.
Yeah.
Move your body. It's going to change the way that you feel. Motion is emotion. We know this.
Yeah.
The other thing is to embrace the idea that you can literally change your entire state, the whole way that you're feeling and projecting yourself in an instant, in a nanosecond. You can make a choice and you can change that. And I think if more people did that, there would not be, the drug companies would not be thriving right now selling antidepressants. And I'm not saying that's true
I got you.
Necessarily 100% of cases, but I would venture to guess 99% of cases. Make a different choice of what you're focusing on, and your whole life is going to change.
I love that, man. That I think I mentioned when we first kind of chatted about that book, The Path, and it's what you just said describes that very succinctly. You cannot be the same person every single day for the rest of your life. Every single second you should be evolving. So if that's true, then right now, if you're hearing this, after you're done hearing this, decide that you're a different person. And you can be. There's no shame. There's no guilt. You're not being fake. You are deciding to create your own reality by thinking the right thoughts. It's that simple, people. Seriously. It's that simple. you know, I don't want to get too deeper into that. We can sit here for 2 hours. So, Liam, for sure, you're going to be. I've mentioned this to pretty much everybody, and I'll probably say it to every guest I have. But I mean this. I'd like to have you back in, 3 to 6 months. We're going to chat before then for sure. You know, you're a friend of mine. We'll help each other grow and learn and all that. But I'd like to have you back to see where you're at in 3 to 6 months. It's going to be at least some kind of a success story, so that'll be cool to talk about in the future. I'd love to do that, and I've really appreciated your time. I think you've, you're a young dude. You're on a huge upswing. You know, you're on that big time upswing of that bell curve, and I feel like it's going to be going for a while. So keep doing your thing. Yeah, you're going to be. I think you're going to be successful in anything you touch. So I appreciate you being here. This has been great. You know, we both weren't sure what to expect, but I think it went very well.
Yeah, it's been great. I appreciate you so much, Jeff, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk soon. You have a good night.